video, I'm going to talk about the culture wars. It's just one thing that kind of popped out at me in class a lot. Something that I just kind of started to research on, and then it kind of formed into some other stuff. So I'm not really sure exactly where this is going to go. But so culture wars are pretty much just the debates and stuff like that against homosexuality, drug use, abortion, pornography, separation of church and state, censorship, all this stuff. And this has been going on for, a long time. I don't know, 1920s maybe. But I was looking on here and on Wikipedia, and there's a quote by George Bush, and he made this whole culture war speech, and he said, "There is a religious war going on in our country for the soul of America. It is a culture war, as critical to the kind of nation we will one day be as was the Cold War itself." And if it keeps going, and it eventually starts talking about multiculturalism, and so I clicked on that, and I started looking more into multiculturalism, and pretty much what multiculturalism is it says an ideology that promotes the institutionalization of communities containing multiple cultures. And I scroll down to United States, right? And it says that it's becoming more, multiculturalism is becoming more popular to be in our educational curriculums. We're learning about it in higher education and in grade school, and it's just this idea that in a workplace, the more diverse it is, the better it's going to work out, because you have all these different ideas, and they all work together to make this, great thing, instead of being different ideas and, butting heads. And so then it goes on to say, that multiculturalism, or the whole idea of the melting pot that we have way back in the 19th century, is part of the United States' national myth. And I might be interpreting this wrong, but the idea of a national myth, to me, the way that sounds is that that's kind of the backstory we've based our society on. And from that idea, we've just been trying to keep forcing ourselves into that myth. It started with an actual thing, and then we created stories from it, just like with the Zeitgeist movie, where originally it was 3 stars, and it was saying the days are going to start to get longer or whatever, and we formed that into all these religions. And so we have all these different ideas in the culture wars, and if you look at the different groups of people who make up each side of each argument, it's not based on race or their religion, really. Sometimes it is, or they're just their ethnicity or their anything like that. It's really based on their worldviews, which can sometimes be geographical. If you're living in a city, based if you're living in a suburb or a rural area. And so we have this idea that a melting pot is this great thing where we have all this diversity, whether it's ethnicities or whether it's just ideas, and then we have, and that's back in the old days, and that's great. And so now we have all these different ideas, and we're having culture wars about it. We're butting heads instead of talking it out or working together and, using all these different ideas to really listen to each other and understand it. And so I just thought it was interesting. And, my idea of a really good team is, instead of putting together, if we need a team to, I don't know, build a new building, I guess. We're not going to get all the best people who are really, really good at designing buildings to go together and be this team who makes this thing. We want a couple of people who are really good at that, but we also want a couple of people who really know the like the physics of the building, where that's their strength, or they really know the like actual materials that you need to use. I don't really know what you need to do to build a building, but I mean all those different like strengths that you can have together. Like you don't want to have people butting heads, but you just having that diversity is what makes a situation like that actually like run the best. Like whenever I'm in a team or a group at school, when we've been the best is when we have a diversity. One person who can really write, who's a strong writer, who can write an essay, and then one person who can actually like physically do the project, and one person I feel like we've always had groups like that in your science, time management, leadership role, all this stuff. And so we go from this idea of way back when the United States or the whatever were founded, and we have this idea of a melting pot and diversity in so many ways, just coming together and just being this huge melting pot of whatever. And now we have these culture wars where we have all this diversity and we don't know what to do with it. And I just thought that was an interesting point. It was something that interested me. I hope this kind of gets your head thinking a little bit. Thanks.